Caves of Narsh. We don't make videos much anymore, and this is pretty much the exact same thing. We're not going to be streaming a game today. I just wanted to reach out to our followers on Twitch and hopefully also YouTube in the future to talk a little bit about the game that we're running at Caves of Narsh right now. This is Josh, Rangers51, the founder, webmaster, etc., like the only person that speaks for Con anymore. And with me is Death Penalty. Recently of
Hello.
the completely failed Final Fantasy Tactics stream that we haven't updated in like a year. Hopefully we'll do that again at some point in the future.
It took a lot out of us.
It did, and then I started that other Parasite Eve one with Tittles, and that one only made
Right.
it one episode. So we have a lot to
Really invested.
yeah we have a lot to pick up on should we ever choose
Yeah.
to do it. So if you're watching this, feel free to yell at us to continue one of those streams if you like them. If not, just stay quiet and watch this one. But yeah, like I said, the reason that we're here today is I want to talk a little bit about the game that we're running at Con. And, we're not the biggest site in the world, but we do have our niche, and this is a game that you're not going to find anyplace else. And it's not a game like, hey, let's sit down and play a 100-hour RPG, of course. It's more of a site community game. And it's something that we've done in the past, where about 7 years
Right.
ago we did a big competition to choose the best Final Fantasy music of all time. And, after not having looked at it for a month or so while I was working on this, I'm pretty sure Dancing Mad won. Do you remember, DP?
That either that or Terra's theme or something like
those were the
that.
two
I think it might have been.
finalists.
Yeah.
Those were definitely the two finalists, and I can't actually
Right.
remember off the top of my head which one won, but I'm pretty sure it
Right.
was Dancing Mad. That information is still available in the Con forums. I'm too lazy to look it up while we're streaming this, but y'all can.
It's hard to believe that was 7 years ago already. It was.
No, and
Gosh, it was a ton of fun. It was organized right. It was organized sort of like a March Madness bracket.
Yes, exactly. And
yeah.
and it ran for a good few months because we had 64 songs that were selected by the community,
Right.
and we went through them matchup by matchup. So that ended up being 63 individual matchups on which people could vote, and it was a lot of time and a lot
Right.
of community involvement and a lot of fun. I think it was always remembered
Absolutely.
pretty fondly by the Con community. And we'd wanted to do another one for quite a while because 7 years ago there were several games that just weren't out there at the time. All of the Final Fantasy
Sure.
13 series hadn't existed yet. 15 obviously is only a year old, so that well postdates anything that we did before. And one of the neat things about Final Fantasy 15 is the way that the music from the old games actually plays a role. Now I know you haven't played 15, DP, and there's probably quite a few people out there that haven't. But
Not yet.
as you probably do know, the kind of central conceit of Final Fantasy 15, at least as you're starting the game and ramping up through the plot line, is that there's a road trip going on. Prince Noctis and his three best friends are cruising the world, doing this, that, or the other thing, and they're doing it in Noctis's royal car. And as you're driving around in this car, one of the neat things about it is that you can actually play Final Fantasy music on the car stereo as you're driving around. You start out with only a few tracks, mostly Final Fantasy 15 related stuff, but as you travel through the world and go to shops, you can actually buy music from other Final Fantasy games and play it on the stereo in the Regalia, which is the Noctis's car.
Right. Who needs armor? Who needs money for armor?
Well,
Not me.
Luckily, the music is very cheap. I wondered about that as well when I started playing the game, as to whether it's going to be something that I even bothered doing. But the soundtracks come in at 100 gil a piece, which is virtually nothing in that game's economy. So if you travel around enough, you will end up with all the ones that they have on offer. And eventually, I got them all, definitely, but I don't listen to them all. But
Which is what this is all about.
Yeah, exactly.
You cannot listen to all of the songs.
You also can't hug all the cats.
That's right.
Which is
Tragic, but true. Tragic, but true.
That's a reference that is so dated at this point. But
I make that
most of
reference
mine
all the
are,
time
so it's
still.
okay. Yeah.
So.
But combining the fact that Final Fantasy 15 does pay homage to so many of the old soundtracks in its own universe, and the fact that we've always wanted to do another one of these games, we figured the 20th anniversary of Con was the absolute perfect time to do it. And that's why we now have this. This is the 2017 Regalia Playlist Championship. I've already described a little bit about what's going on here, and essentially it is 3 phases. We have a phase that is going on right now where everybody can come to this site. It's regalia.cavesofnarsh.com, and you can log in or create a con account, and you can pick the 64. No, wait, not 64. 64 is what we're going to end up with. Hey, Josh, you're stupid.
You're thinking about the brackets again.
I know. I'm thinking ahead because this phase that I'm talking about now has been going on for a few weeks, and we're going to be wrapping it up in the next couple weeks. But what you can do to start, well, first, let me just show you this. We have our login form that we've got going right here. This will allow you to log in or sign up a con account. If you already have one, awesome. You can use your existing credentials. Or if you've already connected your con account to Google, Twitter, or Facebook, you can click either any of these buttons and sign in immediately. If you are new to con, you can also use Facebook, Twitter, or Google to start creating your account and get into the site much faster. Or you can use your existing con credentials to log in or create new ones right here and not connect it to your social account. Now, once you've done that, you'll end up here, which is the core base of the Regalia right now. Here, you can go through lots of Final Fantasy games. All of the main series games and their sequels, so we've got FF1 through FF10 and 10-2, FF13, 13-2, and Lightning Returns, all the way up through FF15. And then, just for fun, we threw in the other 2 games that are not main series games, but Con still covers. So we've got Final Fantasy Tactics and Chrono Trigger hanging out here at the end. Every track from all of these games is represented in this list, so it's a total of like 1,700, almost 1,800 tracks right now that you can choose from. It's overwhelming. We realize this. What we're asking you to do at this part is pick out 15 of your favorite tracks. As I said, we've got this huge list right here, and it goes through every game. You can skip through. Hey, let's go to Lightning Returns. Hey, there we go. Now we're in Lightning Returns. You can pick out the tracks from Lightning Returns if those are your favorites. You're picking out 15 here, and we want you to put them in the order that you most prefer them. So let's say that. Let's go to one that is, in fact, in my list. Let's go to...
And you can hear clips of each track, or is that or will the full track play?
The full track will play. I'll show you that in just one second.
Wow. Nice.
Let's say that my favorite track in all of Final Fantasy is Blinded by Light. Well, I can click and drag that over here. Or, if I also wanted to add, say, The Promise, I can also double-click it, and it'll drop right into that list.
Gotcha.
After that, I can click and drag them around and reorder them. Or even dump it back out of the list and into here. Okay, that didn't do quite what I was supposed to do, but normally that'll work. Now, like I said, we've got almost 1,800 tracks here. There's a lot. But what we're asking you to do is just do your best and pick out the 15 that you like, get them in the order that you like them, because the track that you put in the first spot is worth more than the track that you put in the 15th spot. They descend in order of priority. And what we're doing with these is when we close up all these nominations here in a couple weeks, we're going to take everybody's nominations that got involved, and we're going to rank them all, and we're going to take the top 64 of all the tracks that get nominated, and that's going to be what creates the bracket that you were talking about earlier, DP. That's going to give us 64 songs that the community will vote on until we have just one winner. When we get those 64 tracks, we're going to have the second phase of it kick off, which is not actually the voting, but it's actually the predicting. You're going to be able to look at what all the rest of the community chose as the top 64 tracks that they want in this tournament, and you're going to pick what
Ah,
you think the top 5 will be when all the voting is over. So you'll pick 1 through 5, and you'll compete against everybody else that's playing to see who wins the prizes. We've got some prizes coming up at the end of it when all the voting is said and done. The grand prize winner is going to win a set of 5 limited edition prints from an artist in the UK named Sarah Childs. She produced these about 5 years ago. She doesn't make them anymore, and they are really awesome. They're interpretations of the Amano style logos for Final Fantasy 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
oh, cool.
They're totally custom. They're really cool looking. We've got photos of them up at Con and on the Con Facebook page if anybody wants to go take a look at them. Like I said, you can't get them anywhere else. So the grand prize winner is going to win a set of all 5 of those. Second place is going to win a Final Fantasy VI print from that series, as well as, and here's where I have to look this up because I don't remember which is second place and which is third at this point. But the second and third place both win one of those FF6 prints. Second place also wins a bottle of Wiz's Energizing Elixir from Jones Soda. Y'all that may not remember this, when Final Fantasy
Nice.
15 was first released, they had a product tie-in with Jones Soda. And they produced a orange creamsicle flavor that was called Wiz's Energizing Elixir, and it looks like it came from Final Fantasy 15. The label is I've got one on my shelf right now that I'm looking at. The label looks like Wiz's Chocobo Farms logo from Final Fantasy 15. The soda is actually good. It's pretty tasty. I've got a couple bottles of it here, one for me and one that was left over from the last time I gave some away. So the second prize winner is going to get one of those bottles and a Final Fantasy VI print, and then the third prize winner will get just the print. Like I said, all this stuff is stuff you're not going to find anywhere else right now, and if you can find the soda, it's going to cost you quite a bit more than the $3 a bottle it was when it first came out, because they only made it for a one-time thing. They only sold it at Target stores in the United States,
Right.
so there's really no other way to get this at this point other than paying a bunch on eBay or winning it right here.
Cool.
So yeah, that's the game. We're looking forward to getting a lot of people making their predictions soon. We've got quite a few people that have made their nominations already. If this looks really daunting to you to try to pick out 15 songs from all of Final Fantasy, trust me, it is. DP hasn't done it yet. That's why he's here, because
I
he
haven't.
hasn't done it yet, and this is me telling him to do it. Uh, so yeah, it is tricky. But to make it a little bit easier for
Right.
y'all, we do have all the songs playable, as DP mentioned. Thanks to all the many people that have them out there on YouTube, we've been able to link to all many YouTube videos that have all of these songs represented. We
Gotcha.
also allow you to save your progress on this. So if you feel like you can't pick out 15 songs in one sitting, that's not a problem. You can come back to your tablet or come back to your computer later. Every time you make a change, hey, Saber's Edge, let's do Saber's Edge. Every time you make a change, we will save that progress, so the next time you come back to the site, we'll ask you if you want to reload from where you started off. And you can do exactly that. So I know DP is very excited about this part, so let's briefly listen to Blinded
Right.
by Light. Whether it is in the list over here, where you haven't picked it yet, or whether it's already in the list of tracks that you're considering, all you have to do is click or tap on the cool little speaker. And you'll get a nice overlay with the song, which, by the way, not to bias your picks or anything, but Blinded by Light is definitely one of the best.
It's a good track.
It's one of the best battle themes in the series, definitely.
I would agree with that, I think.
And also not to be biased, but I want you all to actually sit down and listen to the Final Fantasy 15 tracks as much as you can without spoiling the games for yourselves, because Final Fantasy 15 has a very different feel of a soundtrack, but it's pretty cool.
Right.
Don't sleep on it.
Right.
It's pretty good stuff.
I definitely listened through a good chunk of it. shortly after it came out, and there's definitely some really strong tracks on there, which is cool that it's included. Obviously, that's obviously one of the big differences that there's a lot of big differences that I noticed between this and our previous version, which was done just through the forums. But
Hmm.
obviously, the addition of the Final Fantasy 13 games and Final Fantasy 15 is big, but also just being able to see them all like this is cool. I can't remember how we originally decided on the 64 tracks for the
Well,
bracket.
for the old one, we did it in much the same way. Only we made people send Neil and I an email or a private message
Right.
to explain them, and that made it a lot harder to manage. Not only is the Regalia site much easier to use than actually sitting down and writing out an email to somebody, this also allows us to use all of our amazing con prowess to automatically be aggregating all of this stuff on the fly. Obviously, we haven't closed nominations yet. We're not going to do it for another couple weeks. I was thinking about doing it this weekend because we opened them on September 1st. I was going to close them down on October 1st, but I think I'm going to let it run another week or two just to make sure that everybody that wants to get an opportunity, especially people like are watching this video right now and didn't know this was a thing because they only follow us on Twitch or on YouTube or whatnot. We
Sure.
want to give you guys an opportunity to get involved as well and not rule you out. Um, but
And
yeah,
me.
and you, and
I haven't done it yet.
even quite a few con regulars have not done it yet. So
Right.
there's plenty of time for y'all.
Yeah.
Um,
September is a busy month.
it certainly has been for me because I built this site.
Right. Well, I'm usually involved in things here on Con, but usually they are the word things, and as you can see, there are not many words on this system. So,
Yeah, no, this one has very much been my baby, as I've mentioned a couple times
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
I really wanted to do this again, and Neil really wanted to do it again, but Neil has also had an
Right.
extremely busy September, so um,
Yeah.
uh, this is very much my baby at this point, and I really hope that you guys like using it. Yeah, it is more fun to do it this way than the old way. And when we
Yeah.
finally
Oh,
get
absolutely.
around, obviously everybody who comes and nominates or predicts and does whatever, well, we really hope that you come and stick around for the con community as well. When we get to actually doing the matchups, they will be run both from this site and from the forums simultaneously. So you'll be able to vote from this
Cool.
site in every matchup. You'll also be able to vote and comment at the forums. And I'm not ready to show you this yet because the matchups aren't set. But when we do get to the matchup portion, you'll be able to vote right from this site and also click a button to be taken straight to the forums so you can comment on how much your personal pick is vastly superior to what it's up against. And that's what a lot of,
Right.
there's a lot of debate that has happened over the years about, what the best Final Fantasy music is. And it comes down to not just, hey, let's click a button and see. Everybody has their own tracks and games that they're passionate about, and
Of course.
you can debate them with the rest of con,
Yeah.
in perpetuity on
Oh
this.
yes, truly, truly. And I remember one of the big aspects of our debate last time was how much does our own memory of playing the game, or how much does our own sort of nostalgia for the game itself impact the way that we pick our tracks?
Yeah, absolutely.
And 7 years have passed since the last time we did this, which means that a lot of people have replayed maybe one, if not more, of these games since then. Certainly, it's just been 7 years, so
Yeah,
people's memories and recollections shift over time too. So I expect that this will be a fairly new feeling process. Aside, even with, obviously, it's all been redone, and it's a beautiful site, Josh. Let me just say that while I have it on the mind. But I'm sure it will feel really different doing it this time, just because my feeling about a lot of these tracks has shifted.
yeah, and especially at a community like Con, where let me just point out yet again, we are not a Final Fantasy VI site. Shut up with that. Uh, but as a site that does cater to the community of people who tend to like the older games, obviously we cover
Right.
Final Fantasy 1, and the most recent game that we currently cover is Final Fantasy 9. So we're
Uh-huh.
talking about a swath of games that covers roughly a decade. At least in terms of the American releases of these games, roughly a decade of
Sure.
games, and that period is nearly 20 years old now. Final Fantasy
Right.
IX is, I believe, 18 years old at this point, um, from its original American release. And, you know, there are a lot of people that are replaying these games, and like you say, their feelings on these tracks are going to shift over time, and possibly over even what they've played most recently. For my point of view,
Right.
I haven't played most of the games that Con covers throughout in quite a while. The most recent game that I
Right.
played that we actually cover on Con is Final Fantasy IX, which I played the Steam version through last year specifically because we were working on Final Fantasy IX. Other than that,
Screenshots.
yeah, other than that, it's been, all Final Fantasy 13 series and Final Fantasy 15 for me, as well as Final Fantasy 3 on the DS, which I have never played and I still haven't finished because I hate playing games on handhelds. Um,
Fair. Same.
that's my experience, and it probably informed the songs that I nominated. And
Right.
I fully expect that everybody out there will have the same experience, only special just to them. So yeah, that's the kind of thing that I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to. The nomination process can be a little heavy, but we're really coming up on the super fun part of it right now, and I consider all of it fun. If I didn't, I wouldn't be doing this. But
Right.
I think a lot of people are going to really enjoy the next parts of this as we get into them, and hopefully bookmark this site and keep coming back to it. And of
Yeah.
course, if you're following us on social media, we'll keep you posted there. So make sure you follow us on especially Facebook and Twitter, but also YouTube and Twitch.
Well, Josh, there's one thing that the sands of time will never change, and that is that everyone's favorite Final Fantasy track is Fisherman's Horizon from Final
Why?
Fantasy VIII.
You know what? You might be right.
I think this is just general agreement.
Oh,
It's
well,
got
yeah.
it's got everything you want.
Yes, it's got Fisherman. It has Horizons.
That's
Hey, there
right.
it is. Well, you know what? I thanks for
And
sitting
Tittles
down with
hates
me
it.
for
So
a few minutes, DP. Obviously, we are both very busy people, so let's close down this stream by going nicely silent and just listening to Fisherman's Horizon for a minute.
yes.
Thanks everybody who might have watched this. Hopefully, we will see your nominations, your predictions coming in real soon.
Indeed.